Right, welcome everybody to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for players who don't try and turn every session into a Critical Role knockoff.
So true. Don't get me wrong. I like me some Critical Role sometimes, but no. My game could not be anything further from that. Or could not be any further from that?
I think my thoughts on Critical Role is I could not give less of a shit about it.
I'll always be grateful for it, because to be completely honest, I had been wanting to get into D&T.
D&T. Dungeons and Dragons.
Y'all.
It's begun, guys.
It's begun.
Everybody,
it began yesterday. Like my English. My God, did I hang out stream?
May be able to get a show out tonight.
Maybe. Anyways,
Big maybe.
I will forever be grateful for. What the fuck were we talking about? Critical Dungeon. Critical. Oh my God, what's it called?
The Rolling Criticals. That's what it's called.
Yes, that. Okay. So for years, I wanted to play D&D tabletop role-playing game. I didn't care. Okay, I just wanted to play, and I knew all these people that played, but every time I was like, "Hey, can I play? Can I jump in? Can I play? Can I jump in?" Everybody was kind of like, "Well, we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out." Years. It took until my upper late teens for me to actually observe a game. Because one of my friends was like, "Yeah, join our table next week. I'll start a brand new table for you. In the meantime, watch this show on YouTube so you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into." So I will be forever grateful for it. Is it my favorite thing in the world? No. But I am grateful for it because that actually opened the door and allowed me to get in. And now that I'm in, I play a whole bunch of other things. So
I couldn't give a shit about it.
Yeah. Well, shocker.
Don't get me wrong.
No, John doesn't like the most popular D&D game show? What?
Let's be clear. I don't necessarily not like it. I just don't give a shit about it.
That's fair.
I have watched some of it, and don't get me wrong. Credit where credit is due. They do a very good job at what they do.
They do a great show.
I've got zero interest in it.
Yep.
Everybody
in the chat. Hi, everybody.
I do act antagonistic to it because the Critical Role fandom can be quite rough.
Here's my problem, to be completely honest with you. Anytime the word fandom is attached to something, it's rough.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
I was I was in the Facebook groups and whatnot, and the behavior I saw, no behavior towards me, but the behavior I saw with anybody who was even slightly not on board.
Yeah.
Even if, this episode, I didn't quite like it, but they got absolutely fucking slated.
That is what I experienced with Supernatural, because Supernatural is all family don't end with blood. We're all together. We're all family. We're all here for each other. And it started off super strong and healthy, and then as the fandom grew, it just kind of deteriorated into not good. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, I've noticed it with a few things that I've followed. Supernatural being one of them. The McElroy brothers being another, the Adventure Zone and all that. It just got to be this sort of, if you're not with us, you're against us sort of mentality, or if you're not 100% with us. So if you couldn't come in and kind of go, "Hey, this episode that just kind of came out was a bit shit," that's it. It was oof.
I get persecuted. We might get some hate mail for me saying this, so I apologize in advance. That's how I feel about certain, not all, I'm going to point this out, heavy emphasis on this, certain old school Vampire the Masquerade gamers. I watched a documentary, and it was so cool because the documentary showed the birth start of that entire game world into what it turned into, and all the really cool LARPing things and stuff. But at the same time, I'm watching this documentary. And there were a couple of times that people on the show were they were doing that. They're like, "Well, if you're not into this, you're not really a Vampire the Masquerade player." And I was like, "Oh, you're hurting yourself. Don't say that on TV. You're hurting yourself. Stop."
The problem people like that have, the ones that are so sort of entrenched in something pop culture related, and we can go with whether it's whether it's TTRPG systems, whether it's Marvel or DC or fucking PlayStation or Xbox, is then you have people like me who just want to sow chaos.
See,
I may love something with all my heart, but if it annoys somebody to say I don't, I'm going to say I don't. Because it's fucking funny.
I can't tell if you and I would have been best friends in high school, or we might have been dead bodies at the end of a fight that someone would have found and tried to figure out what the hell went wrong, because we would have tried to kill each other.
Oh, I just...
Can we... we can't see that on YouTube. You might have to, bleep that out. I don't know.
to be honest, I don't think we're big enough for YouTube to really give much of a shit.
I hope not.
You know, I'll get a warning. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh man. But yeah, I think.
Please carry on.
No, I was just about to say, I think anytime something gets big, or you start getting people that care immensely about something, and I say that genuinely. I think that their hearts are in the right place. They care about something. It means a lot to them. People by nature will get defensive and say some not so kind things, which is why I'm always a proponent for, like, hey guys, just be nice. Be nice.
I mean, for me, my query is: are you getting paid for this? If you're a fan of one particular thing and you defend it so vehemently and so aggressively, are you getting paid for this?
Right.
Right. Are you on commission? Does this benefit you in any way? And if I come along and say, "Yeah, I don't like this. This is," what does it matter? You've got, like, my opinion. I'm one fucking random dude on the internet. What I think has no bearing on your life whatsoever.
I just, again, let people play what the hell they want to play. Other people's opinions, like John's, should not matter enough to ruin someone's day. Let people play what they want to play. No, okay, so, not that you don't matter. Not that your opinion doesn't matter.
My opinion does not. Honestly, it does not matter. In the grand scheme of things, it means fuck all. But anyway, quick shout out to chat. Guys, thank you ever so much for joining us. We're just going to catch up.
They are blowing up the chat.
Stefan has put, I want to see a show where John just joins a bunch of fandom social media groups and then there says something that is not 100% supportive. That is going to be a goal.
Oh my god.
If we get to the $30 a month tier, I will do that and I will record it. I will just go into different you pick a fandom, I will go into it.
Yeah. No, Chad blew up. I just looked over. I'm like, oh my god, it's paragraphs.
Yeah, we can't
love
really
it.
keep
love
up
it.
with
no,
it.
But I love it when you guys are,
yes. Discuss between yourselves because we've got to get to what we did last week.
Yeah, what did you do last week?
The only game I played last week was Fabula Ultima. We got back to Couch's Fabula Ultima game with new character involved, as there was a character death in our previous session.
Okay.
And it was good. We aired out the sort of the grieving and the mourning, and that was definitely sort of explored really well. And it was then, right, we are now going to the end of this particular section. We didn't drag it out any further. It was like, right, we've been basically trying to kickstart a revolution, and it was like revolution time. It was like, right, we are going in.
That's cool.
And it was good. We had some good battles. We very strangely acted like a fucking team, which, hasn't happened in quite a few sessions. We just, we were quite efficient, and we completed that sort of quest arc, and now we're going to start a new one in a couple of weeks' time. Other than that, haven't had much gaming. I've had some personal things to attend to. But I've been prepping for this Wednesday's Delta Green, which I'm looking forward to, and also trying to get the Kingmaker game back up and running. How about yourself?
What did I play last week? I don't remember who GM'd. It's been a week. I've had a week. It's been a week. We played last Saturday. I think it was Connell's game.
I think it was.
I think it was
because you were meant to be running today. That's not the chat.
Thank you. See,
my schedule. Why do I know your schedule better than you?
You know my schedule. You know my gaming schedule better than me. My therapist knows my work schedule better than me. I asked her. I was like, yeah, because I start work at, and I paused. She goes, 11. I'm like, oh yeah. Wait, how do you know that? Watching me. It was really good. I'm gonna say something that he's gonna be like, no, don't say that. I can't step at that. But I highly doubt any of the other players are going to watch this before the thing comes out. My dearest friend Megan and I, she lives like 10 minutes away from me, so we carpool over to game. We've been getting there early, mainly for food, if we're being completely honest.
That's a good enough reason.
But we get there so early that it's kind of like, oh, let's just do a fun little thingamajigger on the side, a little one-shot, a little unrelated thing. And we've played these games a couple of times, or dream sequences. We've had some dream sequences for the current game. And this past Sunday was really fun because we started playing something that seemed like a random one-shot. And then at the very end, realized it wasn't. And
interesting.
I can't give out too much information yet, but I think Connell's going to try and do something very fun involving tying certain things in. Which I know you're experimenting within one of your systems right now, right? Aren't you like trying to do a Megaverse or a? You talked about that.
I'm trying to do essentially just a unique a setting, and inside the setting, there's going to be various campaigns. And the setting, the way I'm designing it, is it caters for different styles of games.
Cool.
So that's kind of why I'm eyeing up Savage Worlds, because it will allow me to play all these different sort of games in one. However, I'm struggling to pull away from Forged in the Dark, because fuck, I love that so much.
A lot of people do. Yeah. I've heard nothing but good things about that game. So, yeah.
I will. That's going to be first on the cards for one Sunday when you and Connell don't have a game and I've got nothing to do. I'm gonna run some Blades in the Dark for you.
Yeah. That we'll have to take you up on that, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I mean, that's about it for me gaming. Hopefully,
good.
This week I kind of get back into the swing of things before I go away first week of March, which, by the way, on the 9th of March, there's going to be no show.
Okay.
Because I am out gallivanting across the country.
10th of March. Yeah, we'll say there's no show, unless I do a pop-up thing, and then we'll just show it to you guys, be like, hey.
If you want to do a pop-up thing, I mean, I can give you my Rivers. I could try to get you logged into my Riverside.
Yeah, we'll see. Or I'll just do a live YouTube thing. Who knows?
Oh, a live YouTube thing.
Who knows?
Yes, we will figure it out. If not, I am doing another crit show, which always seemed to be...
Oh, yeah.
A nice little trip down memory lane.
Ah, I love those. They're so nice.
Yeah, to be honest, I love doing them because it reminds me of shit that we spoke about. And the way I do it is I'll basically pick 6 or 7 episodes, I'll download them all, and then I'll pick the most relevant part of those episodes and chuck them in for a little But it's fantastic to see. And it's great to see the difference in quality as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some of them are a bit shit, not gonna lie.
I think anytime you go back, it's always interesting, because I have a shelf down there. Nobody can see it. I'll have to take a picture and put it in the Traveler's Chalice. But I have a shelf of notebooks, because every character, I get a new notebook, and I played a lot of games over the last several years. And that was one of the things that I really appreciated actually about the last game, Connell's last game that we did. I think I told you guys multiple times that I've been playing this Warlock, but I'm not playing her as I'm playing a level blah 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 Warlock. I'm playing my character Maja. She happens to be Warlock. So last game was the first time that I actually got to whip out these powers, and it was so funny because everybody's been using their powers. So everybody got in this goblin fight in this swamp. It was so cool, and everybody's displaying their powers. This was the first time she's done it. So the reaction of having not done anything for 4-ish sessions to suddenly blasting people across the swamp on accident was so fun, because this ties in to what you're talking about, I promise. Because years ago, I played a character who wasn't very available or aware of her powers, and I kind of played her as and she does da 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 da. And then last week, just getting so much further into character, not even just your technical gaming skills, but your role playing skills develop so much the more you play. And I love acknowledging that and seeing that in even my players. Oh my gosh, there's a couple times as a GM, my players just start heavy role playing, and I just kind of lean back and let them go.
To be honest, when that happens, I just kind of let them crack on.
Yeah, I love it.
I must say, a lot of times I don't pay too much attention. It's fuck. Unless it's something massively relevant to the story, or if they're just doing a 1-to-1, it's
oh no.
I'm gonna zone out, and I'm gonna figure out what's coming next.
We did a 9-month skip. We did a 9-month skip in my game once, and all the characters came back and powwowed in the tavern of what they discovered for the last 9 months, all the secrets, these life changes, class changes, and everything. I did shit as a GM. I let them basically carry the game, and I love that. I know a lot of GMs I built this crazy intense scene and da 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 da, and that's cool. Congratulations on constructing that, because that is not a skill I have. I, as a GM, love it when my players get so enwrapped in the game that they forget I'm fucking running a game, and they just...
No, I mean, speaking of time skips, in the last Delta Green, they've actually gone forward 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
from where they were. They've gone forward 20 years, and that's been really interesting because there are mechanics to kind of account for that.
Okay.
It's like, okay, they pick a bond. That bond is now gone. Did they die? Did they not? Did they, and it is, okay, so that person in your life has been replaced by somebody else. So like I had one who in the 20-year interim has broken up with his girlfriend and has probably started seeing someone else. I had another one who's one of their bonds has died under suspicious circumstances.
Oh.
And just that, and I thought it was really well done the way Impossible Landscapes handles it. But it's another story for another time, because Impossible Landscapes will take me an entire episode to gush over.
We all have those games. All right.
Speaking of games, and speaking of parts of games that we love, I asked a question a couple of weeks back, and I haven't forgotten it. And that question is, what is one rule or mechanic from any tabletop role-playing game you would like to integrate into other systems? We had a good turnout. So, with your permission, I shall start.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me just start.
I want to hear what everyone thought, because I know mine, I only have to think about it.
You and I will get to ours afterwards.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just very curious what's all out there.
I've got a couple of mentions. One of them will surprise you. Okay, all right. So this is Calvin over on Blue Sky. So it's Calvin at Fedi.spherical, I think. It's kind of cut off.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Says, I like how in Dark Heresy in 2nd edition, acquiring equipment and services required a skill roll, rather than using a currency as a resource. That way, getting gear still felt like role-playing. There could be interesting consequences depending on how the PC acquires the thing and from who. That is very much like Delta Green. Delta Green handles equipment like that. Can you afford it? And that's what you're rolling. If you can't afford it, then things happen.
I feel like I've always made my gear. Like, I always play classes that I can make that's one of my skills. Like, I've been a blacksmith for the last 20 years. I'll just make my armor. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, one of my mentions is in relation to this, because I'm sick of micromanaging gear.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand it.
No.
Okay, good friend of the show, Craig Tezrak, the Imp Slayer of Worlds. Is he in the chat today?
I don't see him. He might be watching, but I don't see him. Yeah, Craig. He's probably reading a dictionary, getting ready for the next game of League of Letters. Let's be honest.
Oh, how did that? Because I dropped out before you guys played. Who won? Did Connell win again?
We're not going to talk about it.
Connell, you won, didn't you? You won, Connell. Answer me in the chat, mate. Connell, answer me in the chat. You won.
I'm answering for him. I'm not answering for him.
All right.
I'm not stooping to that level of shenanigans. But yeah, he won. And he didn't just the last 2 times we played, he struggled a little. I think this was his vengeance win, because he didn't just win, he slaughtered us. Swept the floor with our vocabulary brains. It was awful.
Okay, so Tezrak, the Imp Slayer of Worlds, says he likes the aspects in Fate. You write a brief statement about your character that not only serves a descriptive function, but keys off fate points. When a situation in the fiction warrants it, you can invoke an aspect by spending a fate point and getting either a bonus or a reroll. Fate points are a finite resources and can be replenished either through end-of-session refresh or having aspects compelled, where you accept a fate point against an aspect to have it apply a complication to the fiction. One thing I've noticed in this and reading these responses is that a lot of systems that I like have directly taken things from others, and it is really, really cool to see, because that is very much like Cypher. Cypher does have a similar sort of system.
Yeah.
So Michael Chigowitz, or Michael/Chigowitz, says, I already use this quite extensively across all my games. 2d6, low is bad for players' monsters, high is good for players' monsters. Things like morale, reactions, difficulty of a task, etc. Even task resolution, where target is usually 8+, but that can be altered by NPC characteristics and or difficulty of task. That to me sounds like he's added a luck roll to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm understanding from that. If I'm not correct, please mention me over on Blue Sky and get in touch. Okay, so a Crit Fail Press says I've been running a Perils and Princesses campaign, and it uses a mechanic called gift dice to power spells character's abilities. When you roll the dice to determine a certain effects, if you get a 1 to 3, the dice aren't spent. If you get 4 to 6, the dice are spent. But typically, you're getting a bigger effect. It wouldn't work in all systems, but it's been a really exciting and clever mechanic. Another friend of the show, that Gamer Ajax.
Yeah.
Sorry, Siri wanted to chime in. I'll get to Siri's suggestion in a second. Momentum from the 2D20 games. They just add a fun meta currency with a lot of ways to adjust things around. I can't disagree. I do like a bit of momentum. We played Fallout 2D20. That was quite good.
Good.
System I do actually know from Clearly a Dinosaur.
I love Dinosaur.
Effort from the Cypher system. The option to give yourself a little of yourself to help ensure an outcome is nice. It's similar to the success at cost mechanics so many games are using, but with more control from the player. All right. Connell, our very own Connell, the champion of Scrabble. Well, legally distinct Scrabble.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so either the Shadowrun method of doing magic, with you being able to cast as much magic as you want, but you resist the drain on that effort. The second will be the death by 1,000 cuts of mutants and masterminds, where you don't really have a limited amount of damage you can take. All right, Stefan from 13th Moon Games.
Also
Big shout out to Stefan in the chat. I'm biased, but according to you, Atlas, I'm allowed to be. The assistants, aka teamwork, help me mechanic from Covenant Crucible.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're helping a friend, you get to add how well you would have succeeded onto your own friend's target number.
Love that too. I really love that.
Couch. Group initiative from Fabula. Couch always in the corner, in the Fabula corner.
Yeah.
So much easier than keeping track of multiple NPCs and PCs on a loop, especially when larger combats are involved. Fabula points being able to be used to change story beats. It's a fun little add-on to any scene. Failure breeds experience out of Monster of the Week or Powered by the Apocalypse games. If you fail a roll for anything, you gain experience, which pushes your character to get better and level up. It makes things just a bit more rewarding than failing and not getting a single thing. And in brackets, same with Delta Green.
These are all really good. And I like how varied they are. It's not it's not, it's the same thing just with a different name in each game. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not we've not seen a recurrence of things very often.
Yeah. Everybody got some good tastes out there.
Yeah, Mistress Winter. The action economy of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. One of my biggest pet peeves about D&D 5e is the attack once, move once, maybe one other attack thing, and that's it. It's so fun to miss an attack and have to wait for your next turn to try again.
Dripping sarcasm there.
I like sarcasm. I'm a fan of sarcasm.
I am too. And I just can never, I can't guarantee I will always catch it. I love sarcasm, but 9 times out of 10, I think someone's being serious.
Winter knows I like sarcasm. That's why she adds it. Okay, the Light Side, Dark Side, by Yield Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
The Light Side, Dark Side token mechanic from Star Wars Force and Destiny. It's a built-in system to grant Deus, Diablo, Ex Machinas that also thrives on heightening a back and forth between the party and their enemies. Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. Back to Anti-Rollistas. I'm butchering half of these names.
You are, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We need an end of year thing of you just butchering all the names.
I'll let you do the work in going through fucking YouTube for that because I cannot be fucked. All right. Okay, a very simple one I quite like is the giving of XP using at the end of session questions. Every time a player answers yes to a question from a set designed by the table, like, did you explore a new place? Did you find a new artifact? You gain XP. The interesting part comes from the fact that the whole table create those questions together, depending on what they want to reward. So a battle-interested table can opt to have more questions about fighting. That's fair. I've seen a couple of systems that do that.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Oldius. I love Shadowrun's degrees of success instead of pass-fail checks. It also applies to attacks where the better the attack roll, the more damage you do. And the better you defend, the less you take. So that is all the entries. That was a good amount of entries.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so how about you? Is there anything from any system that you could kind of go, I need this should be in more systems? Is there
I
anything?
have two actually immediately came to my mind. Actually, the Magic Drain in Shadowrun. I love that concept so hard because it's kind of like what GM just said. It's not, I cast my magic, I'm done. It's like, no, I'm going to cast this as hard as I can and I'm going to hold it for as long as I can. And like fighting the drain on that is such a realistic like role play opportunity. And I love when the game mechanic that has crunch to it is built into a role play situation, because then it's not just like, oh, the numbers did this, moving on. It's like, I have to fight this. Like mentally, I have to actually try and resist it. And I love that concept so much. And then Ace Up the Sleeve from Household. I love their aces system. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, I don't even know what to compare it to be completely honest. But I would almost say maneuvers with level up, but with maneuvers and level up, you have a certain amount that you can use. And it's similar to that, but with the aces and household, they're very specific to what kind of suite you take, basically.
Yeah.
And the skills that you have. And it's very cool because you can kind of like gain them. So like you do really cool thing. Like let's say you have a really cool art role play moment that pertains to your background in swashbuckling. The GM can be like, take an ace for that. That was really cool. So it's kind of like an inspiration point, but instead of it just being like, oh, a point that I can whatever, the ace actually has a list of maneuvers and things you can do with it. So then later down the road, I have that swashbuckling ace. I can pull off this really cool swashbuckling move that normally I wouldn't be able to do, but because I got that ace up my sleeve, I can use it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. I like that.
I do like that. That's pretty good.
It's like crunchy, fun game mechanic, role play. Yeah. I love that. I love the blend.
So for me, I am going to gush a tiny bit here.
Okay.
Because I think Blades in the Dark has so many mechanics that I've not seen anywhere else. Admittedly, they kind of fit for the game it is, but I think you could easily port a version of them into other games. I mean, Clocks is something that is now replicated amongst so many different systems. This is where, as far as I'm aware, this is where it started. So we're not going to mention that. The gear mechanic in Blades I love. So because you are meant to be playing professional criminals, right? The gear mechanic does away with okay, so what do we need? Do we need rope and do we need thing? It does away with all of that, where you pick a loadout. You pick light, medium, or heavy. Light means you can walk around the streets without drawing any attention to yourself. Medium means that you look as though you're geared up for something. And heavy means you're going to cause attention. So that has one effect on the game and on how the heist is going to go. But also, what it means is that if you've got like a light loadout, you have 3 items. You do not know what those items are when you start the heist. But when you need them, you then have a list of kind of going, okay, so yeah, I had a crowbar with me. And when you use that crowbar, you tick off that item. Because what it's meant to replicate is the fact that you are a highly sort of organized and planned team. So that when you go into these things, you know, shit, I needed rope and I've got scuba gear. Which, to be honest, when I've played these sort of adventures in different systems, that's always been a sticking point of where the players kind of go, shit, what do we need? And they try and cover all bases. In this way, they can do that, but without having to micromanage. So that is one aspect of Blades that I love. But
I need to play this game. It's the one game out of all the super popular indies that I haven't played yet.
I mean, admittedly, it's not, that mechanic is not something that you would be able to just pick and place in anywhere, because it might not quite work without some finagling.
Yeah.
But that is one mechanic. Another mechanic, obviously, them going into specific Blade stuff like the flashbacks, which again represent this highly prepared unit of, shit, we didn't think of this. Can I have a flashback? And it comes at a cost. And that means that before the heist, this is you planning for that specific eventuality. But the thing I would take from Blades to any other game is position and effect. Right?
Okay.
When you say you're doing something, when you have to roll a dice, the GM will establish, depending on what you're wanting to accomplish, the position from which you start to try and perform this action, and the effect that you are likely to get. So when I say, okay, so I want to climb this drain pipe,
right,
the GM will kind of go, right, there's no one around. You're on your own. So you are doing it from a secure, you're doing it from a really good position. Which means if you fail, the consequences aren't bad. However, if I'm running away from somebody and they're on my tail and I want to claim that drain pipe, I was like, okay, this is desperate. Now, if you fail, you are fucked. In a sense.
Yeah.
So, and then the effect is how likely you are to succeed.
Okay.
If I'm good at climbing and I can climb a drain pipe, the GM will go, okay, yeah. Great effect.
Yeah.
That means your roll can be a middling roll and you'll still succeed. But then you've got limited effects. If you're trying to do something that's bordering on the impossible, then you have to roll better in order to succeed.
Okay. All right.
And everything you do is managed by these two goalposts. Okay, so you're starting out here. This is what you want to achieve. Now, the player, if I go standard, limited, the player can go, can I trade that? Can I make it a desperate roll to get a great effect? And the GM can go, yeah.
Actually, Household does something kind of like that too, which is what I love. It's not necessarily like, oh, can I roll again? But if they have, it's all about matching. If you have certain dice matching is how well you do on a roll, basically. And if you have more dice that match, like more so than, let's say you need a set, you need 2 dice to match to actually pull this off. Say you get 4 matching, you can basically bargain with it and be like, okay, I know I was gonna like steal the key from the guard, but can I steal the key from the guard and like also get like a map? And it's stuff like that. That's a really bad analogy. Really bad. I'm bad at analogies. In case anybody ever wants to know, that is my like weakness in real life. Like I rolled the lowest stat for analogies. I can't. They're bad.
So that, I mean, like I said, I could go on about this.
Yeah, that's cool though.
All the different sort of little introductions that they have added, which, I'd like to say I could go on for hours, but
yeah,
I will mention a mechanic that I really like. It's going to surprise a lot of people.
Okay.
Because it's advantage out of 5e.
Okay.
I like it.
I did not see that coming.
I really, honestly, I mean, if I could pick one
with you, I love that advantage. I just was not expecting that one.
Having played Pathfinder for as long as I can, you get so fucking sick of, okay, there's a +2 here, and there's a -2 here, and there's a +4 there, and there's a -4 there. Whereas 5e were like, okay, let's simplify this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they brought out the advantage mechanic, which has already been ported into so many and non-5e clone systems, like into different things. There is an advantage mechanic for so many things. But I think it's fucking genius.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's the rest of the system I can do without. But that particular mechanic, I think, is fucking phenomenal. Because it makes things so comparatively quick. If you get their main competition, which is Pathfinder, and just kind of go, all right, which flows quicker? Well, 5e, because of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it's a +2, it's a -2. I've got players that have been playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition for years, and they still get confused about bonuses and
that's messed up.
And penalties, because there are so, there's so much to kind of take into consideration.
Yeah, that's always a bummer for me when it's as a player, when I've been playing a game for a long enough time that I'm like, wait, how does this work? Like after a certain time, that is a sign of like, okay, something needs to be rewritten.
But to actually go on the converse as well, a mechanic from Pathfinder that I really enjoy, 2nd edition specifically, is the trait system.
Yeah.
Everything is attached to a trait, and all traits behave the same way.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, there are hundreds of traits, but as a GM and as a player, it simplifies things. It simplifies to go, okay, so this has the incapacitation trait, which means it's governed by these rules.
Mm-hmm.
So for a game that is very rule heavy, having something like that, which is almost a cheat code, makes things so much easier. So, you know, there are a few suggestions that I like, and
there's so many good things out there, and that's the thing. Like, I was joking. I was joking about something this weekend that may not be a joke, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But there's so many good.
Let's not be vague, Atlas.
No, well, if you follow me on Blue Sky, hint, hint, wink, wink, you would know what it is.
Follow you on Blue Sky. I just haven't really been paying
no,
any attention.
not you. I was just dropping a plug. But no, like, there. Hello, plant. I have a plant in case people can't see it. It's right here.
Okay, hello, plant. Chat, can we say hello to Atlas's plant, please?
Right? I haven't named it yet, so if you guys want to come up with a name for it, drop it in the Traveler's Chalice. We're gonna name my plant. Ow! It's prickly. Ow! Anyways, there's a lot of good.
I'm thinking of plant names now.
Traveler's Chalice has to be Traveler's Chalice for me to take it.
That's gonna be the rest of the show. Me coming up with plant names.
Coming up with plant names. But no, there's so many good games out there. So many good mechanics. Every game, and we talked about this a little bit on Saturday at the hangout over at my server. Every game has come from someplace. And even when we had RP on the show, he even said it. He's like, he'll be playing a game. He's like, I could do this better. And then he creates a new game based off of what he wanted to do better on a different game. No ideas are original anymore, no matter how original they are. And I love hearing, like, the question for the week this week. I love hearing people's responses because everybody has such a different point of view that sometimes something gets brought up that I'm like, well, yeah, that's a good mechanic, I guess. I never thought about it. But then the more I think about it, I'm going, actually, that's a really cool mechanic. Like, I love it. I love getting to hear everyone else's opinions and stuff.
I think one mechanic one system that always kind of gets overlooked in these conversations. And don't get me wrong, it's not something I'd be in a rush to play again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Rollmaster. I think Rollmaster.
Really?
It's a brutal fucking game. But it's, I'm trying to kind of remember this, but the magic system in Rollmaster was good, where you, as a level 1 wizard, you could cast level 10 spells if you roll correctly. But the chances of you actually rolling correctly were slim to none, and you could kill yourself doing it. So there was a lot to like about it. It's just the rest of the system was what.
You don't know. You know, we're talking about systems and liking systems. I'm looking for my bear claw. I don't know how I lose this thing every week, but I do. My back itches and I can't scratch it.
I thought you meant like the pastry.
God, I wish. I haven't had one of those.
But I was more concerned about I lose it every week. It's like, how long has that fucking thing been there?
Take a little nibble every week. It's my new diet plan. No, I think it's so funny that, like, different people with different personality traits and different experiences judge games off of different things. As a creative soul, I very much so judge games by their characters. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, you can't judge a game by its character sheet. Like, but it's the thing I stare at the whole time. Like, if I'm gonna play a game and I have to reference character sheet, it better be really freaking good character sheet. Unless it's a game where you don't really have to look at it or don't have to use it. Then yeah, you can make it look however you want. But like, I'm gonna come at some designers sometimes because I was reviewing games over the weekend, not like professionally reviewing, but I was flipping through like probably 40-50 PDFs of games I've been collecting. And it's like, oh, I really love this game. I've always wanted to play this. And I'd flip through the character sheet. And I'm like, I'll just read the book. It's fine. Like, it's fine. I don't have to play the game. And literally, the character sheet made me not want to play the game, which I know I need to get over. But that's also why I've started redesigning character sheets. Because if I want to play a game and I don't like the character sheet, I'll just make a new character sheet myself.
But I think you are onto something there. Because, there's nothing, as a new player to a system, there's nothing more like harrowing than seeing a character sheet and going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no.
And not being able to kind of make any sense of it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I could do it better, never not there. Making character sheets is hard, especially if you're a game designer, because knowing how much information to put on your sheet or not put on your sheet also comes down to personality, because there's some people that want the sheet as a reference guide. Oh, I need more information on that. Let me go look at the book. And then there's people that are like, no, I want everything right here so I don't have to look at anything but my character sheet. And those are two very different designs. I get it. I respect it. I'm not saying I'm better at the game. I'm just saying that's a big turn off or turn on for me. And
I agree.
Stefan, shut the fuck up. Stefan just called me out on chat. So in the process of me reading games, I read about a game that I really want to play. I'm going to out myself before anybody else tells a worse version of the story. So the game Thirsty Sword Lesbians, I had seen some of my friends playing it. I'd seen some comments about it. It sounded fun. I'm reading the PDF and I'm going through it, and I'm very shocked as I'm reading it, because I am like, oh, like the first thing out of the thing is like, hey, you want to flirt with your friends and do that? I'm like, oh, and it dawned on me. I had been reading the game as Thirsty Sword Lesbians, not Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I had no idea the entire purpose of the game was just to flirt and hook up with people. And I'm just like, I feel
I don't think it's the entire point of the game.
Really? Did you read the first 2 pages of the book? That is the whole point of the game.
I don't have it. If I get it, I will read it. I don't have it yet.
Like, that's not what people turn into. I know there are games out there. There are other points. It's probably good storytelling. This page, I'm like, oh, I should not be allowed to speak or read English. I need to pick another language and stick with it. Like,
I mean, for me, it's the out of the 2 options you have. You picked the Thirsty Sword.
It was gonna be like, yes, like LGBTQ plus friendly game, lesbians, like bloodthirsty, like, yeah, but we're all swords fighters and like fantasy, not we're all sword fighting lesbians. I
think for something to be bloodthirsty, you're missing a crucial fucking word. You know, what if it wasn't bloodthirsty? What if it was kombucha thirsty?
I do really like me some kombucha, just to be completely honest. Also, Stefan in the chat, hush your face. He just said that he gets complaints about his sheets are great. He color codes his character sheets. Yeah. Sorry, to jump back to the character thing.
It's massively helpful playing
when
Covenant
he was
Crucible.
explaining Covenant Crucible to me, my numbers are not my strength, right? I felt a little bit of panic start to sink in. I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to play this game. And then I see the character sheet and I'm like, oh my god, he color coded it. And I got all happy tingly and I'm like, thank God a designer understands color coding. Like when you have stuff on your sheet that requires thinking, color code it.
One thing Stefan has done in Covenant Crucible that I really love, and it took me so fucking long to realize it when we played, was at the top right of the character sheet, he's got a little cheat sheet where you can add your most frequently rolled skills.
Yeah.
And it was about 3.5 hours into about a 4.5 hour session, right? When Stefan, what's that for? And he went, yeah, so you know that thing you're always fucking rolling? Yeah, stick it in there. It's like, oh, you fuck. It took me so long to realize that.
Funny.
And I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
You know,
I'm all for cheats. Like when I read into something, it's like, you're going to roll this and your success is based off percentage of blah, 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 blah. For me, I'm not saying it should be this in general. For me, which is why I usually redo my sheets, I need a generalization. I don't need to know all of that. Just like, I don't need to know that this rule was on this page from this thing. All I need to know is that it's an 8 plus a 5 plus a 3. Cool, done. Or stats, like it's a percentage of roll this and you win based off this percentage. Cool. All I need to know. I don't need to know.
I completely agree. I think they should be straightforward and as easy reference as possible.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, if we want to get on a serious note, like, I know that I'm not the serious one ever in a situation. Serious in the chat,
please. This is a moment of seriousness.
Moment of serious. No, but like, what the eye sees.
You're smiling too much.
I can't not smile. Listen, John, when I'm about to beat someone because I'm angry, there's 2 modes. I'm either smiling or crying. Like, I don't have a straight face.
Serious, you better be fucking crying. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
Wait, is Mr. Bean my plant name? What?
No, I said Robert Plant.
Oh my god.
And it's going in the Traveler's Chalice anyway.
Yeah, Traveler's Chalice. Traveler's Chalice. Name my plant.
So, what the fuck were you saying in the serious moment?
Oh, right. Okay, so what the eye sees triggers what side of the brain is going to be dominant in a situation, right? So for me, when I'm role-playing, when I am playing a game, I'm playing a game. I understand it's both left, both right, because you got like numbers, statistics, you're trying to critically think, but also be creative and tell a story, right? For me, I'm going to very preface that. If I have to read a book on my character sheet, my creative side shuts down.
Yeah.
The more words the human eye sees, the more it turns into, okay, what rules am I reading? And not, oh, I can just look, see a shape, a color, a number, a word, and be like, oh, that's right, and get right back into it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. I completely agree. I think it should be as straightforward as the system allows.
Yeah, it's almost like I actually studied art or something.
Honest, I mean, I haven't seen many that I've kind of gone, shit. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some very busy ones, but they are busy because the system requires it. Pathfinder 2e being a prime example. It's a busy sheet because it's needed.
I was going to try to think of the worst one, but I really don't want to name drop worse. I don't want to be that person.
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to, off the top of my head, come up with that.
But yeah, no, I create my own character sheets. Even if it's a system I love. And I end up creating, it's a problem.
No, that's fair enough.
But I also think that helps me understand the game more. Some people, they either need to watch someone run the game or they need to play the game. For me, to unlock full understanding of the game, making the character sheet really helps me. It's like, why is this box here? Yeah. Oh, right. It's like you. Like, why is that there? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, why am I here? I mean, that's the main question. No, but I mean, I think two things that will help me understand a game quicker, and that is the GM screen and the character sheet. In those two things, you have all the immediately important information. Everything else will come, but you focus on those. Have a look at the character sheet and kind of go, what does this do? This is this, and then you can start making those connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of making connections, I'm just going to say a quick shout out to our friends and supporters as we've kind of drifted on today. We've let ourselves kind of run late. But 13th Moon Games, it's a family-run indie game company of Wyoming, USA that created the tabletop role-playing game Covenant Crucible. It's a game of modern-day witchcraft. If you can imagine the John Wick movie and the last Witch Hunter movie got together in a really pretty baby, it would be Covenant Crucible. They do have a new Kickstarter out now. Go and support it because I want to see new shit.
Yeah.
I want stretch goals. I want those fucking stretch goals. But if you want to learn more, you're interested in joining the official Discord game, check them out on Instagram, Blue Sky, 13th Moon Games, and get in touch. Stefan is in the chat. He is a darling of a fucking person.
One more day left on the Kickstarter.
And he's one of my favorite people in this entire earth, so go support them.
One day left. Go.
All right. Step into a universe where fandoms collide. Welcome to Crossing the Nerdverse. It's your ultimate portal to all things geeky and glorious. Whether you're into comics, gaming, or sci-fi, they've got you covered. Discover exclusive interviews, epic debates, and insider tips from your favourite creators. And lastly, check out our merch store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, desk mats, all other shit with either our logo on, our Moves Like Atlas logo, our Waffle On design, anything you can imagine. We will be putting more on there. I've been a bit lazy with that. If you want to support us more directly, you can head to our Ko-fi page. I was told off for saying that wrong, but make a one-time donation or subscribe to our $3 a month tier, which will give you exclusive Discord access to our Traveler's Chalice and a mention in our credits. And always the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button and telling your friends about us. So yeah, come join us in Traveler's Chalice where we talk massive amounts of shit.
And name my plan.
And name Atlas's plan. I tell you what, if somebody donates now and joins, that person will be able to name. We'll have exclusive naming rights to Atlas's plan.
For that?
All right. Yeah, you up for that? Okay. Well, let's do it between now and next week.
Yeah, between now and next week. First person to what? Do the Ko-fi?
Yeah, first person to subscribe.
Yeah. First person to subscribe between now and next week.
$3 tier a month and join us in the Traveler's Chalice does have exclusive naming rights. We'll get it typed out and we'll put it in threads so it is there, it is written, it is bound.
And then we'll do a cute little picture of the plant.
With the plant, with the name.
It's exploded. Look at this. It's had babies. There's like a baby there. There's a baby there.
Yeah, name my plant. It's got babies. Name that plant. Okay, so come and join us and name Atlas's plant. Okay, so every week I take a look at one of the thousands of fucking systems that I have. And this isn't hyperbole.
No.
I literally have over 1,000 PDFs in my collection.
Yeah. Like my Sims mods collection.
It got out of fucking control. Doesn't help that I was a venture agent and I got so much of that for free.
That'll do it.
But anyway, so I did find something that I actually found it quite interesting.
Oh.
Okay, so this is a game called Green Jackers. All right, Green Jackers is done by Penflower Inc. They don't really have a social media presence. They do have a YouTube channel, which I will be mentioning them. But yeah, check them out. Penflower Inc. They do, they do a shitload of videos. They do really well on their YouTube channel. They've got, what can I say, accessories and stuff like that. But they also do games, and this is one of them. And it is called Green Jackers. It is a cyberpunk game. It's it's a leaflet style game, so it's only a few pages long.
Love it.
So I'm just going to quickly show my screen now. All right, so it is really, really simple. It is a very simple game. It's got a couple of mechanics in there that I do find quite interesting. So, So the core rules are basically you have 4 abilities. Okay, you've got your wits, your dexterity, your stamina, and your sociability, which you can pretty much decipher what each of those fucking do. The rules are roll 4d6, and whatever number you've got, you distribute into those attributes. When presented with a challenge, you can either roll or you can spend some of those attributes to succeed without rolling. So it says here, to perform an action in game, you can spend EP, which is their pools of attributes, from the relevant stat for a success, or make a 1d6 luck roll. So if you spend 3 EP, you get a total success. You spend 2, partial. If you spend 1, you get a weak success, which I figure is quite an interesting sort of mechanic. So that is the basic mechanic of the game.
That's okay.
All right, so you can choose to succeed, but it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you part of your... So if you need to succeed at a dexterity check, you can either roll for it and see what happens, or you can just kind of go, no, I'll do that. I'll spend points out of my pool to do that. But those points are essentially linked to your health as well.
Okay, that's kind of what I was kind of curious about. So is it just your health? Is it other things that they're linked to? Like, if I've got enough things that'll boost my health, can I just basically have my way towards game?
So basically, if a PC completely runs out of EP, they become unconscious or die, depending on the tone of the game you want to go for.
Okay. All right.
So that I found quite interesting. I kind of like the idea of, yeah, fuck it, I'm not rolling for that.
Yeah, see, I like rolling.
I like rolling too, but this is...
So, like, that's the thing, is I do like the backup. So, for example, in Mutants and Masterminds, I don't know if this is book rule or if it's household rule for our game, our table, but, like, we roll. If it's a shit roll and we have a hero point, can I use that hero point to re-roll that? Or, like, can I have a hero point to, like, waive that, basically? And so I do like having something to fall back on if I need it, but not as, an unlimited resource.
Yeah, so I like that. And obviously, if you roll your dice, then, if you get a 1, it's a failure plus a complication. If it's a 2 or 3, it's a failure. If it's a 4, it's a success and a complication.
Interesting.
5 a success, 6 success, and an inspired condition. Then you've got a table here of complications, which you can roll on. And another thing I found interesting was what they call the tight spots, which they would be sort of encounters. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Encounters, if you are in a tight spot, you cannot use your pool. You have to roll. Because using your pool symbolizes that you have time to do something.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in a tight spot, you don't.
I kind of like that, yeah.
What I noticed is that there isn't any sort of stats for enemies or anything like that. It is a roll from the GM. So each round, the GM will roll. So every time you roll, every time the GM rolls, something is going to happen.
Okay.
So if the GM rolls really high, nothing happens. But if you roll really bad, it's just one PC gets injured. 3 PCs, all PCs get injured. So that kind of symbolizes the flow of battle without having to micromanage. Oh, okay, these goblins have these attacks and that attacks and this, that, and the other. It's just, okay, so in this round, you all took damage. However you want to kind of flavor that, that's going to be entirely up to you. I found that interesting. I'd be very intrigued to see how it works.
Yeah.
In play.
Yeah. I definitely would watch someone play this.
Yeah, definitely. Because
I'm very curious to see like the flow of this.
Yeah, definitely. Let me just, if I can bring up the website, because I do think they've got some actual plays. I didn't have a look at it myself, but I do think I
love that little picture. That little picture on the right just sold me on it. It's so cute.
Oh, the picture's glorious. Yeah, it is really good. So Penflower Inc. So if we go to games and Greenjackers. So yeah, there is a little video presentation. I'm gonna swap my screen share to their actual page. We go there.
Oh, I love the art.
Yeah, the art on the webpage is fucking phenomenal. It's really, really, it's really interesting. So yeah, I mean, check it out. Check out Greenjackers.
That's so refreshing.
They call it a downloadable pocket RPG. It is small, it is versatile, but it does look like you could actually do a full campaign out of it, to be honest.
I would see again, this is where different people buy things for different reasons. I'd buy the game just for the art. Hands down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, luckily I've got it, so
yeah. That's so cute. I love that.
It is really cool, and this is the actual website for the itch.io, for the game itself.
I love that. Destroy the cyberpunk nightmare, build the solar punk dream. I love that. I'm actually working. I'm working on some cyber solar content right now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really fun.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is John's junk for this week.
I think I forgot about it on purpose.
I did not. Until a better name comes together. I tell you what, the second person who joins Argovy will get to name that particular segment.
Agree. Did you hear Bella? She just groaned. Junk. She just disapproved so hard. She's like, oh.
She disapproved of John's junk. Fair enough.
She did.
And a lot of women disapprove of my junk. All right, but I do believe that's pretty much all we've got time for tonight. It flew by.
It did.
It flew by.
What the heck?
First of all, huge thank you to everyone who joined us live.
Yes.
It keeps us going, and it is so great to see you guys. So great to see how you interact, and it's so great to see you interact with us as well.
Also, we'll rewatch the show and read y'all's chats. So don't think things get missed.
That is true, yeah. So anything Atlas missed, she'll get back to you. I will. I'll be editing.
He does the heavy pulling.
Also, Atlas, thanks to you for joining me this evening. Do you want to tell people whereabouts they can find you on the old interwebs?
Yes, I am on Blue Sky and TikTok, and I am on Threads and Instagram. Atlas Ursa, Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear. And I also have a Discord server. It's super chill if you ever just want to come hang out. We all get together on Saturdays and literally we work on projects, whether that's art, gaming, life, whatever. And it's just chill.
I was doing game prep yesterday.
Yeah, he was doing game prep. I was working on game art. Stefan was working on something. They had to do
the point where I wasn't active in the chat. I was just
like,
I'm busy with this shit.
But that's what I love about our Saturday hangouts is we get shit done. It's not, we don't have to entertain each other. It's literally just hanging out and doing stuff we need to get done. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also, come join us in our Discord as well. There's a general chat. We've just opened a new sort of fitness-based chat with, our very resident BC, who is basically spurring us along. He is the powerhouse of positivity. And it shows because, I mean, my PBs have got better since chatting to him and since he's been pushing me and challenging me. So definitely looking forward to
I'll never forget that. I was like, oh yeah, no, this year is going to be my mobility year. I'm going to turn into one of those ninja girls you see on TikTok. And he's like, okay, so make sure you start with this. I'm like, whoa, like, all right, like, I'm here for it.
I did a challenge against Beastie last week. It's still ongoing. I'm still keeping this challenge up, but he fucking destroyed me.
Did. And can we just point out that Beastie is like half bionic?
He is half bionic, and you can fucking tell. I did 3 sessions and got a number. He did 2 sessions and more than doubled it. The guy.
That sounds about right.
He lives up to his name, and we love him for it. But also, if you do want to come and join and throw us, a bit of funds our way to help with the running of the show, you can join our Travelers Chalice, where we'll talk about the show. We'll throw stuff out there. We'll come up with ideas, but also you'll talk to the other members of the team, as it were. Who, will talk about their projects and what they're doing. And it is a really good place to be. And for the sake of $3 a month, you cannot go wrong. As for me, you can find me at Natural Juan at dice.camp over on Mastodon, natural.juan on Threads, Natural Juan on Blue Sky, and behind basically most of the social media that comes out from the show. So if something pisses you off, it's going to be me.
Oh, so there's no basically. It's him. It's not me.
And, I'll probably be happy about that because I need my fix. But most importantly of all, thank you to everyone who took time out of their busy day to come and listen to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.